Hey everyone, let's get into Joshua 6. We left off in Joshua 5 where Joshua asks this unfamiliar face, are you my friend or are you my foe? Are you for me or against me? And the person responded, I'm neither. I am the commander of the Lord's army. And it stopped right there. Let's continue. That's why I said read the word and let it flow. It's going to tell you a story. It's going to be very easy to comprehend that way. All right. Joshua 6. Now the gates of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. No one was allowed to go in or out. No one was allowed to go out or in. But the Lord said to Joshua, I have given you Jericho, its kings, and all its warriors. You and your men, you and your fighting men should march around the town once a day for 6 days. Sunday walk, Tuesday walk, Sunday walk, Monday walk, Tuesday walk, Wednesday walk, Thursday walk, Friday walk for 6 days. On the 7th day, you are to march around the town 7 times. Once Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But on Saturday, we're going to use it like that. I want you to do it 7 times. 1 time all the way up to Saturday. If I use Saturday as the 7th day, then I'm going to tell you to do what? You are to march around the town 7 times with the priest, don't go by yourself, blowing the horns. When you hear the priest give one long blast on the ram's horns, have all the people shout as loud as they can. Then the walls of the town will collapse and the people can charge straight into the town. Now, we'll keep going. I'll tell you later. So Joshua called together the priest. See, God gave the word and then Joshua getting ready to implement it. So God called together the priests and said, take up the ark, get the word of the Lord's covenant, and assigned 7 priests to walk in front of it, each carrying a ram's horn. How many? 7. Then he gave order to the people, march around the town, and the armed men would lead the way in front of the ark of the Lord. What did he say? Then he gave orders to the people, talk to the priest first, march around the town, and the armed men would lead the way in front of the word of the Lord, the ark of the Lord. After Joshua spoke to the people, the 7 priests with the ram's horns started marching in the presence of the Lord, blowing the horn as they marched. God gave instructions. Joshua listened. Joshua only spoke what the word said, and the people followed. That's how we become one. Some of the armed men marched in front of the priest. Let me go back to verse 8. After Joshua spoke to the people, the 7 priests with the ram's horns started marching in the presence of the Lord, blowing the horns as they marched. And the ark of the Lord's covenant followed behind them. Priest in front, ark right here. Some of the armed men marched in front of the priest with the horns, and some behind the ark, with the priest continually blowing the horn. Do not shout. Shh. Do not talk. Joshua commanded the people, not a single word out of you until I tell you to shout. Then shout. So the ark of the Lord was carried around the town once that day. Sunday, 1 time. Monday, 1 time. And so on till Saturday, which was that 7th day, if they started on Sunday. So the ark of the Lord was carried around the town once that day, and then everyone returned to spend the night in the camp. Walk, go home. Walk, go home. And do that for 6 days. Joshua got up early the next morning, and the priests again carried the ark of the Lord. All they did was what God said. The 7 priests with the ram's horns marched in front of the ark of the Lord, blowing their horns. Again, the armed men marched both in front of the priests with the horns and behind the ark of the Lord. On the second day, they again marched around the town once and returned to the camp. They followed this pattern for 6 days. On the 7th day, the Israelites got up at dawn and marched around the town as they had done before on the 7th day. But this time, they went around the town. How many times? 7. The 7th time around, as the priests sounded the long blast of their horns, Joshua commanded the people, shout! For the Lord has given you the town. Jericho and everything in it must be completely destroyed. As an offering to the Lord, only Rahab, the prostitute, and the others in her house would be spared, for she protected our spies. Do not take any of the things set apart for destruction, or you yourselves will be completely destroyed, and you will bring trouble on the camp of Israel. Don't bother that prostitute and those people in her house, or you will be in trouble. In fact, all of us will be in trouble. Everything made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron is sacred to the Lord. It must be brought into his treasury. Silver, gold, bronze. Silver, gold, bronze, or iron. He said, now those things we're going to keep for the Lord. When the people heard the sound of the ram's horn, they shouted as loud as they could. Suddenly, the wall of Jericho collapsed. But let me tell y'all something about that wall that collapsed. It fell down flat. It didn't just fall and crumble. Let's see why. And the Israelites charged. If it had a crumble, they would have been walking on broken pieces. God said, no. King James said, and it fell down what? Flat. God said, these folks got to run, walk. And the Israelites charged straight into the town and captured it, just like God said. They completely destroyed everything in it with their swords. Men dead, women dead, young dead, old dead, cattle dead, sheep dead, goats dead, donkeys all destroyed. Meanwhile, Joshua said to the 2 spies, keep your promise. Go to the prostitute's house and bring her out with all her family. The men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, mother, brothers, and all the other relatives who were with her. They moved her whole family to a safe place near the camp of Israel. Will God do it again? He said he would. If you get into the place that's safe, you're going to live. But if you continue in sin, you will die. Then the Israelites burned the town and everything in it. Only the things made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron were kept for the treasury of the Lord's house. So Joshua spared Rahab, the prostitute, the people that we look down on, and her relatives who were with her in the house, because she had hidden the spies Joshua sent to Jericho. She did something. She wasn't just talking. And she lives among the Israelites to this day. Do you not know that is Boaz's mama? At that time, Joshua invoked this curse. He said, let me just tell y'all something. I'm speaking this out loud so you can hear. May the curse of the Lord fall upon anyone who tries to rebuild the town of Jericho. Anybody that build any city that does not represent the word of God, you just like Jericho. He said, may the curse of the Lord fall on anyone who tries to rebuild the town of Jericho. We just destroyed this place. At the cost of his firstborn. Your firstborn gonna die? At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay its foundation. At the cost of his youngest son, the last boy, he will set up its gates. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his reputation spread throughout the land. He's going to tell you something. Anybody that try to build up anything that God destroyed, you destroy your own house. You're going to have nobody to leave nothing to. He said, don't go back and try to rebuild something that I said destroy. That's the word of the Lord. Let's get into it. This was Joshua 6. Let's see what happened. In the next flow of God, which would be Joshua 7. Thank you for listening. Joshua 6.